I want to get you a quick update with regards to our breaking news this morning in Tanzania. Tanzania has a new president. Samia Hassan has been sworn in. She becomes the first female president of Tanzania. I want to bring in our correspondent, Isaac Lukando, who's live for us in Tanzania. Isaac, a very good morning to you. So just talk to us about the swearing-in process as well, from what you have observed. Give us a sense of what transpired this morning.
Well, good morning. A sense of relief as who was the vice president now becoming the president of the United Republic of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan, taking the oath of office at a few minutes after 10 local time, about an hour or so ago. She became the first female president of Tanzania and also the East African region, and she joins the ranks of 20 or so women leaders across the world. The process was very smooth, very short. After swearing in, she went to inspect a parade of honor, and after that she spoke briefly to the nation. In her address, she talked about the unusual circumstances in which Tanzania has found itself, and herself assuming the office of the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, acknowledging that she would have wished to perhaps attain such a position in happier times. So every other oath of office she had taken was in happier times. There was laughter, there was happiness, but this comes at a time when the nation is in mourning. But most importantly, during her address, she talked about the need for the nation to band together in these trying times. She reassured the country and the citizens that the nation is stable, that they need not worry, that every good thing that President Magufuli had put in place, all the good things would be carried forward in her leadership.
Talk to us about this historic fact that she becomes the first female president of Tanzania. What does this mean, do you think, for the people of Tanzania?
Well, this is a very historic moment for a female to become the president of the United Republic of Tanzania. This is something that had been talked about in the past, in past forums. You will remember that in 1995, when there was the Beijing movement to seek equality for women in all spheres of life, Tanzania was one of the countries that spearheaded that movement with our very own Gertrude Mongella, envisioning that there would be a time when Tanzania would have a female president, and this has actually happened. So this is a momentous moment for the country to have a female president. We have just been seeing, people on WhatsApp, for example, a lot of women extremely happy, posting Samia Suluhu Hassan's picture on their WhatsApp statuses, showing that now is a time for women to shine and show that they're capable. And just to reiterate that, the late President Magufuli said that he chose Samia Suluhu Hassan to be his vice president because he felt that Samia Suluhu Hassan was capable and exemplified all that was good in women, and a great character definitely for the leadership of the nation. So definitely a historic moment for Tanzania.
With President Hassan now at the helm, is there an expectation that we could see a shift in terms of strategy of how COVID-19 is handled in that country?
Well, we don't know for sure because most of the decisions, to the best of our knowledge, were being made together. So if it were, for example, cabinet picks, they would consult each other and then make a decision. So we could see more of the same, or we could see a slight shift in terms of how COVID-19 is handled. But what we do know is that there will obviously be an assessment of the way to proceed with handling COVID-19. We do know that after this swearing-in ceremony, she is scheduled to have her first cabinet meeting where a number of issues will be discussed. This has not been made public, of course, but we do expect to now get a sense and a feel of what her direction will be. But if it is anything to go by, her speech, her brief speech after the swearing-in ceremony, she said that you can expect to see all the good that Magufuli stood for being propagated, but we don't know in its entirety what exactly that will entail.
What about the new vice president? Talk to us about that process in terms of the swearing in of the new vice president.
Well, as it stands, Tanzania doesn't have a vice president. What is expected to happen is that the ruling party, CCM, is expected to have a meeting tomorrow afternoon. And it is, according to analysts, they say that this will be the meeting that will decide who will become the new vice president. There's obviously a lot to deliberate about because, as you've seen, under extreme circumstances, this vice president will have to become the president at some point if a unique situation like the one we have arises. So tomorrow we'll have a sense of who might become the vice president. Of course, after that, the nomination process, the formal nomination process will take place, and the vice president will assume the office of the vice president.
What more, Isaac, can you tell us about President Hassan in terms of her political career, her political background, and in terms of what we can expect in terms of her leadership style?
All right. President Samia Suluhu Hassan had a very humble beginning in politics. She was educated in the UK. She has a background in development. She was for a long time involved in the development programs. But in 2000, she decided to join politics, went along, became an MP, later on going to the Constituent Assembly that was looking at the possibility of having a new constitution for Tanzania. She led that quite successfully, I might add. And she found her way into President Magufuli's good graces when he asked her to become his running mate in 2015, and of course ascending to the vice presidency. What is most notable about her character is that she seeks consensus. Most people around her will note that she's a person who listens to both sides before she makes any decisions. Most people around her describe her as a very fair person. She's obviously very soft-spoken, but firm, and so this is what can be expected of this president. Obviously, reflected in her speech, you hear her talking about bringing the country together in a trying time such as this one, and so unity and consensus might be some of the key elements that we'll see throughout her presidency because of her temperament and character.
Great insight indeed, Isaac. Thank you very much indeed for your reporting. Isaac Lukando there, our correspondent in Tanzania, talking about President Hassan. Breaking news this morning, President Samia Hassan becoming Tanzania's first female president.